Amir Abo-Shaeer takes an innovative approach to science education. He was awarded a MacArthur Fellowship in 2010 for inspiring and preparing public high school students for careers in science and math.
I think that we've become so focused on academic content in schools and college readiness that we've kind of written everything off as vocational, not really taking into account that people learn through a variety of different media. And working on machines and tools is one way that we can do that. I mean, the human hands, that's how babies learn. How do you teach someone physics if they've never are engaging in physical things? I talk to my students and go, have you ever done this? Because I did it when I was a kid, but all those hands-on things have been removed from the schools, and the kids kind of look at me, no, I haven't. This is the new student machine shop in the new Ealing Center for Engineering Education. And Peublos High School, it's my alma mater. I graduated from here in 1990, and then I came back here after working in industry as an engineer, decided to become a teacher, and I taught physics, and then ultimately had this vision of what we could be doing with students in terms of education and strengthening their education. So we have one major goal today, okay? You know what we're doing. We've moved in here, and we're trying to do robotics, Monday night robotics in here, and the only way that can happen is if all the machinery is up and running. Real close to the table right now. So I want to be clear on one thing. Even though I had real-world experience, I came into education and immediately fell lockstep back into the traditional educational model. It's so entrenched in our educational DNA that getting out of it is very difficult. I was teaching AP classes, and the students were doing fantastic. They were getting the best scores. They were all getting 5s, and I was feeling really good about myself. Look, I'm achieving all the goals. I'm getting all these stamps of approval. And then 5 years in, and we started the robotics project. And I said, we're going to do this now. This is going to be our capstone course. The students couldn't apply any of the physics I had taught them to the robot because they had been learning it in abstraction. The robot is a challenge. The kids and myself received the challenge to build and design a robot to achieve a task. And then in order to actually achieve the robot, the types of things they have to do go well beyond what is typically taught in an academic setting. The kids are calling up suppliers, they're working with people, these are soft skills, they're trying to understand things they haven't ever negotiated before. They're working in completely unfamiliar realms. They work with mentors and adults in industry, coming from industry, and that's different than what you normally would find in a school setting, working as part of a team to really achieve a goal.
This was the robot for last year's competition. Every year there's a different one.
Right now we just powered on the robot, and now we have to wait for the robot to connect to our laptop.
It uses a wireless connection, so it's got to get booted up.
So, enable, and now we're ready to drive. Okay.
0. I operate the forklift and the claw, and Jake drives the robot. Red tube? All right.
The first second that you accelerate with this robot is faster than that of a car. We have all 4 wheels are powered.
Because of our transmissions team and the programming that we do and our pneumatics and everything else, our forklift is like world record speeds. If anyone's keeping track of forklift speeds, it's a world record. The match is like 2 minutes long, so we need to be able to both move around the field as quickly as possible in that time and hang the tubes as quickly as we could to get the highest score we can, because you get more points for every tube you hang.
We're, I think, rounding out the picture, and we're moving away from this kind of myopic approach to education, which is just, it's about learning content till the end of college, and then you go into a job and you don't know how to do anything, and employers complain about this. What do you got, just a couple more wheel screws, right? Okay, perfect. Why would we want people to go to school for 15, 16, 17 years and then get a job and not be able to start performing right away? I mean, that's ludicrous. You guys, we're going to try to take these machines and power them up all at once, okay? We're trying to test the surge current. Okay, is everybody ready? On 3, on 3. 1, 2, 3. People often ask me, do I want my students to become engineers? And no, I want them to follow their passion. I just think engineering and problem solving is a really good foundation for doing kind of anything.
I, for example, am going into music, but I can use the skills that I've learned in my presentations team, in the events team to organize events. It'll help me get gigs and make a lot of connections that, I'm not applying that to engineering in my future, but it's a lot of great experience that I can use in kind of whatever field any of us go into.
So my dad's a landscaper, but he has a PhD in physics. I'd say work together to unbox one. He grew up in Iraq, and he was kind of groomed to go be a physicist. The culture there was much more about, you're good at this, we're going to steer you in this direction. He graduated #1 in his country in math, was a brilliant theoretical physicist, but did not enjoy physics. And he embraced the American dream, which was the freedom to actually think for himself and do what he wanted to do. And he realized that working as a PhD researcher was not something he was interested in. You can do whatever you want. People told me I had to be this or I had to be that, and I turned out, I said, I don't want to do engineering, I want to do this other thing, I want to do this education. And it's been wildly successful. And it was because I followed my passion and because I followed the American dream of just setting out and making your own way. That's what I got from him, and that's kind of what he got from coming to this country. And I think people could learn from that.
Mr. Shaeer has done a really, really good job of making it 50% girls, 50% boys. I don't feel any resistance being a girl in the engineering academy.
Why this is important to me, that everyone feels included, is that I'm an Arab American, and when I went to this school, and still there's very few people of Middle Eastern descent at this school, and I definitely had that hard time fitting in. At the end of the day, people break up into their race identity, their gender identity, etc. And at the end of the day, when everybody broke off into their own groups, I was just there standing alone. And it wasn't that I didn't have friends, I did, but there was just that missing, connection with a community. And that's helped me, I think, realize kind of like that humanity is the community and that we do compartmentalize ourselves too much. At least in our little microcosm, we can kind of generate, what I think is a model for the way, humanity can be.